Well, I was half right. Hi, everybody. I made predictions last week about who was going to win every game in the wild card round, and got 3 out of 6 correct. I predicted that the Bills would beat the Steelers. Nailed it. Awesome. Great. Predicted that the Dolphins would beat the Chiefs. Very wrong. Predicted that the Browns would beat the Texans. Incredibly wrong. Predicted that the Cowboys would beat the Packers. Couldn't be more wrong. Lions beat the Rams. Yay. Bucks beat Eagles. Hooray. So 3 out of 6. That's a D. No, that's an F. That's an F. That's okay though. We try. We do these things to, show how dumb we are, I guess, and just based on our best judgment and what we're trying to think. I'm speaking gibberish. Anyway, hi everybody. This is going to be breaking down every matchup in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, which includes these 4 matchups, as you can see: Ravens-Texans, Bills-Chiefs, 49ers-Packers, and Lions-Bucks, which I think is going to be a very interesting weekend. Let's just get right into it. This is not going to be as long as the last one because there's a lot fewer matchups, so it shouldn't take as long. Let's just dive right in. Ravens-Texans is so interesting to me. The Ravens have looked unstoppable the last few weeks. They got the bye week last week, which meant they didn't have to play a game. They got to rest up, which is a big boon. But it also could mean that their rhythm's been disrupted. We don't know until we see them. Their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, has been playing amazingly this year, and they have looked sharp even with all their injuries. They don't look like they have an obvious weakness. The main thing would be if the Texans' defense can hold them, it's going to be real competitive. The Texans, their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, had a near-perfect game in his first playoff game ever, and he was the youngest quarterback now to have ever won a playoff game. He is looking very good and very unstoppable, but the Ravens' defense is excellent, which makes me nervous for Stroud because I don't know how well he's going to do against them. I also don't know how well the Houston defense is going to do against the Ravens, but they stopped the Browns, who have been a very high-flying, fast-paced offense, and Houston's offense didn't have any trouble with the Browns' defense, which has been the #1 ranked defense in the league. Stroud didn't even get sacked once. So, I don't know. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. Me, personally, at this moment, having seen what I saw the Texans do, I'm picking the Texans. Might just be recency bias. Probably is. But I think the Texans have got more than a good shot of winning this game. Bills-Chiefs. Oh boy, we've been here before. Just not in Buffalo. Did you guys know? Hey, did you guys know this is Mahomes' first road playoff game? No one's talked about it. This is his first time playing a playoff game on the road. He's played all the rest in an Arrowhead. We're playing in Buffalo. We are playing in Buffalo, which means this is going to be an interesting little matchup because we have beaten Josh Allen in the postseason every time we've met him. But those have all been at Arrowhead. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see how Mahomes does in Buffalo. I'm curious what he's going to be able to do, how he's going to handle it. I'm also just curious to see how the Bills' defense handles him and how our defense handles the Bills. Because the Chiefs' defense has been rock solid these last few weeks. We manhandle the Dolphins. But the Bills, when they're on, are really hard to defend. So I'm curious. And their offense against that Steelers defense was just unstoppable. But those are the Steelers we're talking about. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Just based on past experience, I'm picking the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs have looked really solid, at least in that first playoff game. It seems like they were saving up a lot of their juice for the playoffs, which usually means that Buffalo is going to have a bad time. So we'll see. I could really, truly see it going either way. I'm definitely going to be glued to the screen for that one because the last time they met up in the playoffs, ooh, doggies. That game, 2021, the AFC Divisional, the lead changed, I think, 4 times in the last 2 minutes of the game. It was just back and forth and back and forth. And Mahomes ended up tying the game with 13 seconds left. He had 13 seconds to make a drive, got us there, got us a field goal. We won the coin toss and won the game. We, of course, then did not make the Super Bowl, but it was still amazing. Niners, Packers. Oh, man. The Niners have had the bye. The Niners have been able to rest this whole week, which is a big plus. But Christian McCaffrey, their star running back, is still a little banged up. Purdy's looking good. Kittle's looking good. A lot of their defensive pieces are looking good. The Niners are a very good team, but we saw when they played the Ravens, they can be beaten, and quite handily at times. The Packers, on the other hand, I didn't know what to think of the Packers going into the playoffs. I thought they would have a great story, make it to the playoffs, and get bounced by the Cowboys. And now they demolished the Cowboys. They were up 48-16 at one point, which was absolutely shocking to me. I thought the Cowboys were going to put up a hell of a fight and come away with the win, but they didn't. It was pathetic. So the Packers are really interesting to me because they seem to be getting real hot, and their quarterback, Jordan Love, in his first playoff game, had almost the same stats as C.J. Stroud. He had a near-perfect game. In fact, he had a perfect game, and then one of his receivers dropped a pass, and he didn't anymore. But he still looked incredible for his first playoff game to be doing that well. So I really could see it going either way. I don't know. I really don't know. My gut, for some reason, just because of how the 49ers have choked the last few years, my gut's telling me the Packers. I really, just watching them work the other day against the Cowboys, they're ridiculous. But so are the Niners. The Niners could just hold it together. I mean, their coach, Kyle Shanahan, is excellent. Their quarterback's great. Their whole team is stacked. So we'll see. When they're all healthy, they're the team to beat. So I very well could be wrong. But I think I don't know. We'll see. I've gotten burned by not getting so many correct last week that now I'm like, oh, I have to go for the crazy picks, which will probably bite me in the ass, but oh well. Lions-Bucks is interesting because going into the Bucks-Eagles game, people thought the Bucks were going to do okay, but eventually get bounced, and the Eagles just folded like a cheap suit. I mean, truly, it was sad. It was a sad finish. Couldn't even get the tush-push to work to their favor. It was bad. It was sad for the Eagles, especially for it being Jason Kelce's last game, for it being a couple of the other players' last games. But I don't know if that's as much the Eagles being awful, which they were, or the Bucks being great. But Baker Mayfield, their quarterback, has been doing really, really well. And that's not an exaggeration. He's genuinely one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. A lot of people like to hate on Baker, but he's not bad. He's not bad. And I, especially a few weeks ago, I said he's not a game changer. And I don't know that I was entirely correct. I admit to that. He's making some amazing throws. He's making some great plays. But versus the Lions, interesting. The Bucks defense is very solid, which makes me think if they can slow down the Lions' super aggressive play calling, they'd have a shot. The Lions' offense is excellent. And the Rams put up a big fight. The Rams, someone described it really well. The Rams are the only team that lost this week without looking stupid. The Rams lost and still looked competent. Really a solid team. There was not a loss that they're going to be like, oh, we blew it. We were terrible. They did well. They stayed in it. They only lost by 1 point. So it was not a dramatic blowout. They could very well have won that game. So the fact that the Lions are able to beat really competitive teams makes me think they have a real shot in this game. And I would say more than a real shot because I, in fact, am picking the Lions to win the game. I think the Lions are just, they looked amazing on Sunday, and I just think if they keep going the way that they have, they're going to march right to the NFC Championship. Now, granted, if the Niners do win that game against the Packers, and the Lions have to go against the Niners in the championship, that is going to be tough for the Lions. I think they could do it, but I don't think it would be easy in any way. I think it would be incredibly difficult. But yes, these are my picks for the week. Again, I said this was going to be a much shorter video, and it is. But yeah, some of the games this week were much bigger blowouts than I thought they would be. The Browns stayed in it with the Texans for a while, and then in the second half, Joe Flacco just collapsed. The Texans, Stroud didn't have to do much of anything. They got 2 pick sixes, 2 possessions in a row. They returned one of them 82 yards. The Browns really disappointed me in that second half. Dolphins just couldn't get anything going against the Chiefs when I thought they were going to potentially trounce us. Don't know if that's the cold or if they're just really not those guys. Yeah, it was a weird wild card weekend. Some games went as expected, but several did not for me. So I'm very curious about the divisional round. I would also love a Texans-Chiefs AFC Championship. I'd be happy either of those teams winning. Obviously, I'd want the Chiefs to win because I love the Chiefs. But the Texans making their first Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback and rookie head coach, as a lover of good stories, that'd be amazing. And I wouldn't even be mad because they would have earned that shit. Anyway, I don't have much else to say. Enjoy the divisional weekend. Stay warm, those of you who are in the Northern Hemisphere. And I'll see you guys next week to break down the championship round. Godspeed.